Hi, everyone, and welcome to the show. I'm Jack. It's great to have you all here today.
And I'm Elena. Thanks for having me.
So today we're going to be talking about comfort zones. That feeling of doing the same things and feeling safe. We'll talk about why it's important to step outside of that zone and maybe even give you some tips on how to do it, especially for all of you learning English.
Absolutely. A comfort zone is really just a place where you feel safe. You know what's going to happen. There aren't any surprises.
Like sitting in your favorite chair at home.
Mm.
It's comfy, it's familiar, but
But if you always stay in that chair, you might miss out on some really amazing things. Trying new things can be a little scary, but it's how we grow.
it's so true. I mean, even learning English, it can feel a little scary to speak in a new language at first.
Oh, definitely.
But think about how much you've already learned. You're listening to this show, which means you're already stepping outside of your comfort zone. And that's something to be proud of.
It really is. When you step outside of that comfort zone, you learn new things. You become more confident. You find out things about yourself that you never knew before.
It can be tough, though. I know sometimes I get stuck in a rut.
Well, there are actually a lot of benefits to stepping out of your comfort zone. Like you were saying, you can grow as a person. You can build confidence. You can become more resilient.
Resilient. What do you mean?
Well, think about it like this. When you're resilient, you can bounce back from challenges more easily. You can make a mistake and it doesn't feel like the end of the world.
And learning from our mistakes is how we all get better.
Exactly. Stepping out of your comfort zone can also open up all sorts of new opportunities. You might meet new people, have new experiences, discover things you never thought you'd be interested in.
I like that. New opportunities. So how do we know if we're stuck in our comfort zone?
That's a good question. Well, do you ever feel bored? Maybe a little unfulfilled, like you're just going through the motions.
I think we all feel that way sometimes.
Right. And maybe you're avoiding new challenges. Or always saying no to new things without even thinking about it.
Like always ordering the same thing at your favorite restaurant.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe sticking to the same English phrases even though you want to learn more.
So what can we do about it? How do we actually start stepping out of our comfort zone?
Well, we're going to give you some strategies to try. Small steps that can lead to big changes.
I like the sound of that. Small steps.
Yeah, we'll talk about how to deal with that feeling of being uncomfortable because honestly, it's a normal part of the process. And we'll talk about how to set realistic goals. You don't have to do everything at once.
Right. It's about making progress, not being perfect.
Exactly. We'll also talk about having a growth mindset.
A growth mindset.
Yeah, it basically means believing that you can learn and grow, that you can get better at things even if they're hard. And it means not giving up when things get tough.
I think that's really important, especially when learning a new language.
Definitely. And another important thing is having a support system. People who encourage you and believe in you. It could be friends, family, even other English learners.
We can all learn from each other and help each other out.
Exactly. And sometimes we're going to make mistakes. It's part of learning.
Right.
But the important thing is to accept those mistakes as part of the process. Learn from them and keep going.
Don't give up.
Right. Because when you step out of your comfort zone, you're really challenging yourself. You're pushing yourself to grow and become a better version of yourself. And that's amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
So let's get started and talk about some practical ways to do just that. And, when you do step out of that comfort zone, sometimes it can feel a little uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's totally normal to feel that way.
It's like learning to ride a bike.
Yeah.
I remember falling off so many times.
Oh, I bet it was scary.
It was definitely scary,
Hmm.
but I kept practicing and eventually I got it. It's the same with anything new.
It's true. It takes time and it takes practice. There are going to be bumps along the way, but that's okay.
Yeah. And that's how we learn, right? By making those mistakes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So don't get discouraged if it feels a little tough at first. Keep trying and you'll get there.
That's great advice.
Hmm?
I think it's helpful to hear about other people who have stepped out of their comfort zone and what they've achieved. So let's share some real-life examples. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. Stories are a great way to see what's possible.
Okay, so there was this man who wanted to start a YouTube channel. He had all this knowledge he wanted to share with the world, but he was terrified to put himself out there.
Oh, I can imagine. It's intimidating.
Right. He was afraid of what people would think. He was afraid of failing.
But he did it anyway.
He did. He started small. He made a few videos just for himself, and then he finally worked up the courage to post them online.
That's brave.
He was so nervous at first, but he kept making videos, and he started to find his voice.
That's so cool.
It is. Now he has this amazing channel with thousands of subscribers, people from all over the world watching his videos. He's making a real difference.
That's incredible. I love that. Okay, I have another one. How about a woman who decided to completely change careers?
Ooh, tell me more.
Okay, so she had been working at the same job for years. Comfortable, but not really happy.
Been there.
Right. And she really wanted to do something more challenging, something she was passionate about.
So what did she do?
Well, she knew she needed new skills. So she started taking classes, going to workshops, all sorts of things.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
It was, but she was determined. It took time, but eventually she landed a new job in a whole new field. And now she's using her talents in a way she never thought possible.
I love that story. It's
Oh.
never too late to try something new.
Exactly. And you know what? I have one more story. It's about a woman who had this amazing opportunity to be on a TV show.
Ooh, a TV show. What kind of show?
It was a comedy show, and she had never done anything like it before. She was a very private person, and the idea of being in front of cameras terrified her.
That's a big step.
It was, but you know what? She decided to go for it. She said yes to the opportunity and stepped way out of her comfort zone.
So what happened?
Well, she had to learn to work with a whole team of people. She had to be in front of the cameras all the time. It was a whirlwind. But she said it was one of the best experiences of her life.
Really?
Yeah. She learned so much about herself. She discovered that she was actually a lot funnier than she thought she was. And she made a bunch of new friends.
That's so awesome. I bet she's glad she did it.
Oh, she totally is. And you know what all of these stories have in common?
With that?
They all took that first step. They all decided to challenge themselves and try something new. And they all grew in ways they never imagined.
They're proof that stepping out of your comfort zone can lead to amazing things. And it reminds me of something you were talking about earlier, about stepping out of our comfort zones being a journey, not a destination.
Oh, yeah, it's not a one-time thing. It's something we do throughout our lives. It's about constantly challenging ourselves.
So each time we step out of that comfort zone, we learn a little more, we grow a little more.
Exactly. And it gets a little easier each time.
So don't be afraid to keep pushing those boundaries. Try new things, meet new people, take risks.
What's the worst that could happen, right?
Exactly. You never know what you might discover about yourself.
And remember those stories we talked about?
The YouTuber, the career changer, the comedian.
Yeah, they all took that leap of faith, and look where it got them. They're all living their dreams.
And it all started with that first step. So I want to ask you, what's one thing you can do today to step outside of your comfort zone?
Could be anything, right?
Yeah, it could be something small, like trying a new food.
Or talking to someone you don't know.
Maybe start learning a new skill, or use a new English phrase you learned.
The possibilities are endless.
The important thing is to just start and be patient with yourself.
It takes time to learn new things and to feel comfortable with the unfamiliar.
And don't forget to celebrate your successes, no matter how small they may seem.
Every time you step out of your comfort zone, you're achieving something amazing. You're becoming a more confident and well-rounded person.
So keep learning, keep growing, keep pushing those boundaries, and most importantly, keep stepping out of your comfort zone.
You got this.
That's a great message to end on. Thank you so much for being here today, Elena.
It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And all of you listening, thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this episode and learned something new. We'll see you next time.